Libra. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for October of 2021. Hey, it's your birthday month. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're shiny and exciting and having parties. And if this is your sun sign, then you absolutely need a solar return birthday reading so that you can find out what is this new year that you're stepping into? What is coming up for you? Solar return birthday readings can really help you get the year started in the best possible way, especially if it's possible to get one done before your birthday. And I might not be available for that, but my guess is that Julia probably is. Goodness, I didn't introduce us, did I? We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kill Miller in Berkeley, California, and
I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco.
hey, Julia, you want to pick up your cute little doggy?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot to introduce the most important member. This is Luna. She says hi.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's just here to give us a little moral support. So
Aw.
Libra, I'm going to begin with Venus, the planet of
Mhm.
art, beauty, and relationships. She begins the month in your second house of money and stuff. And she's going to be here for the first week. So with Venus in the second, it's a wonderful time if you have to make any type of financial negotiations, like if you're thinking of asking your boss for a raise, for example, or maybe expanding business. And it's a wonderful transit for shopping, Libra, which you definitely like to do, especially if you buy things that might beautify your appearance, like cool clothes, nice products, luxury items, art, all are favored under this transit.
Mm.
Then on October 7th, Venus is going to move into your third house. This is the house of siblings, the house of communication, and it rules your neighborhood. So it's going to be a wonderful time for the rest of the month to get along really, really well with your brothers and sisters, if you have any, or even neighborhoods, and enjoying your local community a lot more. Venus in the third is also a great transit if you have any writing that you need to do, because third house represents all types of communication. And it's a wonderful transit if you need to negotiate or be diplomatic with people.
Mm.
Now, the next planet I want to talk about is Mercury, and Mercury begins the month retrograde in your first house. So when Mercury goes retrograde in the first, it's a time where you might feel misunderstood by people a lot. You try to get your point across to others and they walk away from the conversation with a totally different idea than what you were trying to convey. So be prepared to have to go over and smooth out all the conversations and all the communications that you might be having during this time. Now, by October 9th, Mercury is going to conjoin the sun exactly, and we call that Lesser Epiphany Day. It's a very important day to keep track of in your calendar, because this can be a time where you actually might make some revelations, especially regarding first house stuff, the way that you articulate yourself, using the kind of right words, the right language that you need to find, or anything else that has to do with your image and how you project yourself out to others. Then by October 18th, Mercury is going to go direct again. And then over the next week, we're going to slowly come out of that shadow period, which is going to be great. Then the last planet I'm going to talk about is Mars. Mars starts the month and is going to spend most of the month in your first house of self as well. And that on October 30th, it's going to move into your second house, but I'm mostly going to cover that in next month's video, so stay tuned. But Mars in the first is a time of high energy, and you might just be feeling like you want to kind of go out there and expend energy, maybe go to the gym, maybe go for a walk, because you're going to be embodying all those Mars vibes. It can be a time that's a little bit more conflict prone, especially because Mercury will be retrograde in this first house too. So not only you might be misunderstood, but you might also get into arguments with people a little bit more easily as well. But for the most part, Mars in the first the best way to handle that transit is to just try to get out all of that energy, maybe physically. And it can be a very good time for asserting your boundaries and standing up for yourself too.
I think that sounds like a great antidote for the Libras of the world who struggle with indecision.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yes. So I want to talk about the moons. The first one is a new moon, which falls in your sign, Libra, right there in your first house. And it's a complex moon because it involves an opposition to Chiron, and that brings some stress, undoubtedly. There's help in the form of harmony with Ceres and also Juno. But I want to say that this month's two moons, the new moon and the full moon, both of them involve a really strong influence of Mars. And both of these moons are along the Libra Aries axis. And so there's just a really strong theme of assertion, negotiation, possibly argument or debate. And there's no better time than when Mars is in your first house for you to just figure out what you want, Libra, and pursue it, push after it, go after it, take the actions. You know, Mars is really great at pulling the trigger, sometimes overly hasty and impulsive. But for you, Libra, that might be actually a good antidote because you kind of have a way of overthinking things sometimes and thinking about the other guy a little bit too much, which can position you as the nice guy who gets run over. So I think that this moon could be a time when you figure out some things about what you want, and then you find yourself facing down somebody who has a very different opinion and experience from you, and maybe wants something very, very different in the form of that Chiron in the seventh house. Now, that person might be coming from a place of woundedness, and that might be evident to you, but it might not at all be evident to them. And so this moon, we've been calling it making peace with adversaries. And one thing that we were saying in the video about it is that it's really important to have some respect for your adversary and acknowledge that, you know, that they are a sovereign entity of their own, and they don't have to do what you want. And so, you know, sprinkling a little Libran sugar on top of that might not be a bad idea. You can find out a lot more about that moon in the video we made about it on in the October 2021 news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. Similarly, you can find out there about the second moon this month, which is happening on the 20th. And this one we're calling Negotiate Strongly, Then Let Go. And the reason we're calling it that is because of the involvement of Pluto. Now, I said before that Mars is involved with both of these moons, which is true. This is a full moon. Sun and moon are opposite each other. And once again, they're in Libra and Aries. Once again, they're in your first and seventh houses. So you're absolutely going to experience this in your partnerships, and it is likely to get adversarial. And your ability to know what you want and where you want to draw the lines is absolutely going to be tested. During this full moon, though, the tests might be a little bit more sneaky. They might be a little bit more underhanded because of the involvement of Pluto. So being aware of, being aware of the difference between what your puny everyday will wants and what your greater self's will, what you might call your great will, wants, being aware of the differences between the two and getting them aligned will absolutely get you through this moon with minimal adversarial experiences. So yeah, we're calling it Negotiate Strongly, Then Let Go, because Pluto can be very relentless, but there's this magical moment that happens when you're on a Pluto metamorphic journey where you've pushed as hard as you can, and then you let go, and that is where things can fall into place because you stopped pushing and you allow them to. And that's really magic. The last thing that I want to tell you about is the seasonal change. Of course, Libra is drawing to a close. That's your month. That's your season. I like to call it the season of cool beauty, but it's going to draw to a close. And we will move into the season of Scorpio, which is the season of the killing harvest, the butchering time, when the animals are converted into food and cured with salt and put away into cold cellars for the winter. And this is the traditional behavior in agricultural cultures around the world in this ever cooling season, where it's also getting darker. So it's very much a season to do with death and transformation and metamorphosis, with the idea that rebirth does come after immersion in the darkness. So we all walk into that darkness together in Scorpio season. And I think it's good to have a little fun as we go along. In your case, the sun enters into your second house, as Julia was describing it, of physical possessions. You'll find even more emphasis on that next month as more planets move into this house. And in this house, really getting comfortable in your body, really getting the best possible arrangement of your physical possessions, and being in charge of your own finances are really great preoccupations to engage in and places to shine the light of awareness in Scorpio season. So, hope you enjoyed your horoscope, Libra. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. You can find more great stuff like this, especially if Libra is your sun sign, and that's why you're watching. You can find your rising sign horoscope as well on our website, pandoraastrology.com, where you'll find horoscopes in the navigation bar. And you'll also find a way to get readings and ways to take classes. And until next month, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.